large amount of data. So these two here with based on DTP for direct access and the standard info cube, these two variants are physical info providers, physical info cubes, and these on based on BAPI on function module and real time are virtual info providers. You have to create and we have, yeah, we don't have material number, right? For example, we can borrow material number from that one. We can create the info cube here. You can see in info cube by default system has 3 dimensions created. Business programming interface, BAPIs or function modules, they are programs to feed the data and to, there are programs we create in ABAP language. In InfoCube there are 3 dimensions. You're welcome. There are 3 dimensions. One is data package, one is time, one is unit. These 3 dimensions are created by SAP, and these are SAP created dimensions, and you will find these 3 dimensions in every InfoCube. Generally the limit for creating dimensions in InfoCube are 16. Within 16 dimensions, 3 dimensions are SAP created dimensions, data package and time and unit. Here in data package you have few records like change ID, record type and request ID. It means that the request, when you load the data is loaded via request, so that every request has a request ID. The request ID is stored here. It means the InfoCube stores data according to the request IDs. So it can separate the data according to request IDs. And in time dimensions, as I said, if you are creating a standard time dimensions, you can input it directly from here. If you are not using standard time dimension characteristics, you cannot. Here you can see these are standard characteristics. We haven't created anything. These are SAP given time characteristics. So 0 cal days, 0 fiscal period, 0 fiscal year, fiscal variant, all these are standard info objects from SAP. So in a given time dimension here, which is standard, we can only add standard time dimensions, time characteristics. We cannot add user created time characteristics in this dimension. In unit dimension you have 0 unit and 0 currency values here. When you load the data for the key figures, you need to load with the currency details, units. I'll show you that. So here you can see this. Here in this one there is a 0 cal day, but generally the date fields created by users, that date fields are not added to the standard dimension. They are added separately. And you can see that 0 currency is available in the unit dimension, because in characteristics we have Z material cost. So for this material cost, we have to, the source system has to pass the currency for for the material cost. For that purpose, there is a zero currency which is automatically created. When you see the transformation, you will know that. For example, this transformation here, it has bill amount, and one rule is coming from the bill amount and another rule which is coming from the currency. And here you have a quantity. It has two rules. One is coming from the unit and another rule coming from the quantity, material quantity. So when the system maps, it will map automatically. If that doesn't maps, we have to manually map it to the key figures. So in order to so for dimension 1, you can do the customer dimension. Here the customer dimension, for example, I am giving the description, and generally the descriptions are given in order to make the characteristics, in order to group the characteristics according to the dimension. For example, if I have created customer dimension, I will only give the characteristics which are related to the customer in this dimension. I will not give more than that. But here I am checking the line item dimension, because when you check a line item dimension, you cannot create more than one, you cannot give more than one info object, and I am okay with that, because we have loaded master data for the customer. And what I will do is to add the customer info object here, and I can use all the attributes of the customer in drill down of the query. So we don't have to load all the data, all the attributes here. So there are two options, line item dimension and high cardinality. When you use line item dimensions, you have to use only one info object. The concept behind that is when you are using line item dimensions, the dimension IDs won't be stored in the fact table. Generally the dimension IDs are stored in the fact table. Instead of storing the dimension IDs, the system will store SID of a characteristic which we provide there directly in the fact table. By doing that, we are cutting the dimension IDs, and performance will be better. So if the dimension table disposes of lot of data records, it means if the dimension table has you can estimate the dimension table is more than 20% of the fact table. In that case, you have to check the dimension as high cardinality. If you check that as a high cardinality, the system will use the B tree indexing. So indexing change will be it will help the performance better. So let's create an info cube directly. So we are checking line item dimension for that reason, and in this we are using a characteristic info object which we have created. You have to drag it and drop it here, and you got characteristic info object. Now I will create another dimension for the materials. And what I will do is to right click on the technical name of the dimension and info object direct input. So here we are loading material number as well. So for the key figures we have to load data, and for now we can borrow the key figures as well. Here you have to copy them. Here right click on the key figures tab and do the direct update, direct input of info objects. You can paste it here. Okay.